No alarm clock needed when your day's about to be wrecked by a neighbor wielding a cell phone like it's the holy grail of HOA complaints. That's exactly how I started one winter morning, my snowblower roaring at 6:30 a.m., mist curling in the air, and there's Barbara Whitmore stomping through the snow, phone high eyes narrowed as if she's about to read me my rights. I'm Ethan Warner, 3 years living in Meadowbrook Heights, Grand Rapids, Michigan, and up to now, I'd kept my head down, followed the rules, played the game. There was the usual HOA nonsense notes about mailbox colors, passive-aggressive group emails about trash cans. I dodged the drama, kept my lawn tidy, my colonial blue shutters shining, my garage doors sealed like a vault. The 30-page covenant might as well have been my bedtime reading. This morning, though, just clearing my driveway so I could get to work suddenly made me public enemy number one. Barbara, vice president of the HOA, champion of the rulebook, and owner of the sharpest blonde highlights north of Detroit, stormed over, boots scraping on the concrete, ready for battle. Her husband Donald, quiet as a church mouse. I'd seen him twice in 3 years, always heading to his car like a man making a jailbreak. As I killed the snowblower, Barbara fixed me with that look of permanent disappointment and said, "Ethan Warner, do you have any idea what time it is?" Like I was some forgetful teenager. 6:30, I told her, gloves in hand. Same time I always clear the driveway. I've got to get to work by 8. She wagged her phone. This is a clear violation of Section 12.4.4 of the HOA covenant. I've recorded this disruption. She loved her numbers and rules the way some folks love their dogs. I reminded her politely. Mind you that snow removal equipment was, specifically, excluded from the noise restriction section. Read it a dozen times before I bought the thing. But Barbara wasn't having it. Power tools are power tools. You're disturbing the neighborhood. Expect a $500 fine per violation. She spun on her heel and stomped back to her identical house across the street, sage green shutters and all, looking for all the world like she'd just solved a crime. I just stood there, boots wet, fighting that old burn of injustice. I'd gone out of my way to do things right, checked the rules, bought the quiet electric model. Didn't matter. Sarah, my wife, saw it coming. She'd grown up in HOA country, could spot a tyrant from a mile away. She'd warned me 6 months ago when Barbara dinged us for a house number plaque being half an inch too high. So I finished the driveway, turning over responses in my mind. Ignore it. Go to the hearing. Or prove her dead wrong. That last one sounded the best. Sarah, bless her, had coffee ready. Barbara, she guessed. I nodded. She slid me a mug. But you checked the rules. I nodded again. She doesn't care. She's threatening us with fines. That's nuts. We can't afford that. Not gonna pay it. She's wrong and I'll prove it. Sarah's smile said she'd back me all the way. Let me know if you need a lawyer. Work was my escape until lunchtime, when I spilled the whole saga to Marcus. HOAs, man, he groaned. My sister got fined for a soccer ball in her yard. $50. These people need a hobby. He offered up his brother-in-law, Jeff, a sound engineer. Maybe he could help. Jeff picked up on the third ring. Ethan Warner, HOA noise drama. He laughed. Electric snowblower? Those things are quieter than my cat. I'll come out Saturday, no charge, just coffee. Sometimes the universe throws you a bone. I dove into the city codes and HOA covenants. Nothing louder than 85 decibels during the day, 65 at night. HOA says no power tools before 8 a.m., but snowblowers. Different section. 24 hours to clear your drive, use reasonable equipment, pretty clear. The more I read, the madder I got. But I also knew that HOAs sometimes cared less about rules and more about their own power. Saturday dawned with 4 inches of fresh snow. Perfect. Jeff rolled up early, gear in hand, big smile on his face. Let's get this done, right? He said, setting up his certified sound meter at all the key spots, property line, sidewalk near Barbara's house. I cranked up the snowblower, did my usual thing. At Barbara's 52 decibels, legal limit was 65. Quieter than 2 people having a conversation. Jeff handed me a printed report already signed and ready for court. If you need me as a witness, I'm in. I thanked him, feeling the first flicker of hope in weeks. HOA hearing rolled around fast. Sarah and I walked in folding chairs, bad fluorescent lights, Barbara already there, files in hand. She played her video, made my snowblower out like a leaf blower strapped to a jet engine. I passed out the relevant covenant pages highlighted. Then Jeff's report. The board started reading. Frank, the treasurer, shrugged. My lawnmower's louder than that. Denise, the secretary, nodded. He's right. The rules say snow removal's allowed. Barbara exploded about the spirit of the rule. But the board only cares about what's written down. After some back and forth, Linda, the president, announced complaint dismissed. Barbara stormed out muttering about useless boards. Did she stop? Not a chance. The next 2 weeks brought 3 more violation notices. Trash cans, street parking, not my car, Christmas lights, not white enough. Every time I had proof, every time the board dismissed her claims. Sarah got nervous. She's obsessed. We're doing everything right, I said. She has to stop eventually. Instead, she escalated, filed a city complaint, claimed I was running an illegal business from my garage. City inspector looked, apologized, called it harassment, told me to keep records. I called Jeff for advice. Document everything he said. If she keeps it up, you'll have a case for harassment. February, more snow, more bogus complaints. Delayed snow clearing, sidewalk blockage. All thrown out. Sarah and I started talking about moving. If we leave, she wins, I said. But man, it was exhausting. March dumped 10 inches overnight. I started clearing at 6. This time, Barbara brought Donald looking miserable. She let me have it, yelling about disregard for rules. I tried to stay calm, told her the board already ruled. She didn't care. Out came the phone. She called the police, claimed I was dangerous and threatening. Cops showed up, neighbors gathered. Tom and Jennifer Park stood up for me. So did the Hendersons. The officers listened, took one look at Barbara and basically told her to stop wasting their time. Even suggested I file a report if it kept happening. Turns out I wasn't the only one on her radar. 8 households right there in my driveway agreed it was time to act. Tom submitted a formal complaint to the board, 12 households signed. The next HOA meeting was packed. Tom presented evidence, 37 incidents, 18 households. The board looked at Denise's stats. Barbara had issued 3 times the normal violation notices. Even the police officer came, said her reports were potentially criminal. The board voted. Barbara was out, removed as vice president. She stormed out, shrieking about property values. Soon after, a for sale sign went up. Word was Donald filed for divorce. Barbara packed up, moved to Ohio. The new neighbors, Jake and Michelle Torres, turned out to be the kind of folks you actually wanted to live next to. No more drama. Board passed reforms. Now 2 members had to review every violation. Appeals process in place. Jake got the same snowblower as me. We cleared our drives, waved, and nobody said a word. In May, I got a letter from the county prosecutor. Barbara had been charged with filing a false police report. Probation, community service, anger management. She lost her house, her marriage, her power. Maybe that's enough. Life in Meadowbrook Heights actually started to feel like community. Tom organized a barbecue. Everyone showed up. For once, people laughed without glancing over their shoulders. Standing in my garage, looking at that snowblower, I realized it wasn't just about clearing the driveway. Sometimes all it takes to bring down a bully is one person willing to gather the facts, stand up, and refuse to be intimidated. A decibel, reading a timestamp, a few brave neighbors, that's all it took. There's the lesson, not from some grand speech, but from the grind. Stand your ground calmly with evidence. Because unchecked power, no matter how small, can make life miserable for everyone. Communities need truth, not tyranny. And as for Barbara, some folks never learn. But this place changed for the better. All because I refused to let a lie become the law. So here's my question. When does enforcing the rules turn into harassment? Where's the line? Drop your thoughts below, and if you face down a bully, HOA, or otherwise, share your story. Maybe together we can make sure truth gets the last word.